its analytic writers ranked the 32 best rosters. Again, Baltimore, Philly, Detroit, Buffalo, really good rosters. All of them really, good GMs. But here's what's interesting, the Sean Payton effect. Denver's at 6. And 32, dead last is the Saints. Don't think it's a coincidence. We all know Sean Payton is arguably the best play caller in the sport. We also know he's a great play designer. Maybe not Andy Reid, but a great play designer. Yeah, he can do the personnel thing too. So I'm going to suggest it is not a coincidence that the Saints have nosedive in personnel to dead last in the league analytically, and the Broncos are suddenly 6th. And to me, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Sean McVay, and the Harbaughs are close, have sort of separated from the league in coaching. Play calling, play designing, culture creation, and a sense of personnel. Colin Kyle Shanahan, slow down. He's 0-43 when trailing by 8 or more in the fourth quarter. I've said this, and I love Kyle Shanahan. He has a rigidity about his play calling. He gets very tied. It's not all Brock Purdy. He gets very tied, not all Jimmy Garoppolo, to his play sheet. But what makes this whole thing by Sean Payton, he's underrated at this point. Because everybody acknowledges the Harbaughs are great, and Andy Reid is great, and Sean McVay is unbelievable. And it's like, no, guys, I've said this before. I'm always impressed with a kid that grows up with nothing and makes something of himself. I mean, if you're worth $100 million, but you were a trust fund kid that grew up with 30 over the course of time, not that impressive. If you grew up in an unstable household and become just a millionaire of any level, I'm blown away by that. Okay, think about what he inherited. Russell Wilson's contract, the largest at the time dead cap number ever when they moved off him. Oh, and by the way, Denver also gave up 2 first-round picks to get Russell Wilson. So they didn't have ammo, they lacked elite draft capital, and they had the worst dead cap situation ever in a division with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and GM Brett Veach, and the Hunt family, A-pluses across the board. And it's only gotten stronger. Now it's Harbaugh in the division. So he got the Broncos last year in the very tough AFC West, in the tougher conference of the two, although it's close now, the AFC, to the playoffs with a quarterback in Bo Nix that wasn't universally lauded coming into the draft. They looked it up this morning. This was PFF's scouting reporter on Bo Nix. Now, I love Bo Nix out of college. They did not. They said, limited ceiling, no truly elite trait. Nix has a rather high floor due to his age, but very limited ceiling. Tough to justify spending overly valuable draft capital on him.
Yeah, but Sean Payton didn't think so. I mean, do you guys remember those days how much everybody was bashing Bo Nix in that draft pick and studying Sean Payton's body language when they drafted him? Does that look like someone who's happy with the quarterback that they got? Bo Nix's elite trait right now is that he's a baller. Colin uses this word a lot. So-and-so is a gamer. And I know what he means by that, but like Bo Nix is the type of guy who's like, I can kind of do anything that you need me to do in any given moment. I'm not telling you who he's got the versatility and the physical skill set of like a Josh Allen or Patrick MS, but like he can do a little bit of anything. And what's so great about him is that he also seems to me actually incredibly coachable. And that's why it's like I see a little bit of, and I brought this up before, like Josh Allen, but also, ironically, Carson Wentz. But here is Carson's fatal flaw. He wasn't coachable. Carson Wentz was actually an incredibly gifted quarterback and gifted athlete. There's a reason why he was the MVP. He should have got the MVP even though he got injured. And he was a huge reason why that Philadelphia Eagles team won the Super Bowl. He got injured and then things kind of got derailed and then he got put on like random teams and it just, he was never able to get things going. But he was not coachable. And people didn't like him. You're not coachable and the locker room doesn't like you. That's, you're not going to really grow and no one's going to go to bat for you. But that's not Bo Nix. And so Bo Nix has the legitimate ability to be better even than what his, how do I want to phrase this? When you enter the league, when you're trying to achieve or accomplish something, you kind of have like a likely outcome, right? You know what's the most likely outcome? That someone like a Bo Nix will be a pretty good quarterback, an elite Hall of Famer, and the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. A bust like you know, it's like what is the likelihood of it? And you're not, and you're removing the situation from it where you go, you know, injuries, you know, the how well run the team is, et cetera, et cetera. And with Bo Nix, and this is kind of what they even said in that, you know, in the pre-draft you know, ranking, where it was just kind of like his floor is high because of his age. And it's like, yeah, so what's the likely outcome of Bo Nix? He'll be a pretty good quarterback. That's just his skill set. Now, when you add his coachability, you add his intelligence, you add the fact that he went to the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton, it's like it just pumps up the floor. Not only the floor, but then the ceiling. And now what's not only what's achievable, but what's likely achievable, right? If you will follow what I'm saying there. And so that's to me what's getting so excited, and I got to do a little mini victory lap because obviously you guys know I've been praising the Broncos, but I said this season, I said the Broncos are here. I said they got a great roster. They're right there. And I said like they'll be competing, and my conclusion that I really drew, and this I was like pretty firm in this probably about a month ago or so, where I was just like, at the end of the day right now, if Bo Nix takes a legitimate step forward and actually solidifies himself as like, I'm I am actually like a bona fide top 10. We don't have to go higher than that right now. We don't have to be like, oh, he's going to be top 3. He's going to do this. Like, we don't have to do that. It's just like a true, like the general consensus, whether you're Ryan Clark on ESPN, Colin Cowherd on First Things, you know, on FS1 and Brew, all the just the general consensus of like, well, Bo Nix, I mean, like he's a top 10 quarterback, and it's just like confident and and established. Then this Broncos team is a Super Bowl contender. They'll be competing for the division, and like I said, if you're competing for the division and you can win the division, well, then you're competing for an AFC championship. And if you're competing for the AFC championship, well, then you're good enough to win it. And if you're good enough to win it, then you could be competing for a Super Bowl. And if you're good enough to compete for a Super Bowl, then you can win it. And now again, I'm still going to give Bo Nix the grace to fail, to make mistakes, to mess up even in a key moment in a playoff game, you know, whatever it may be, because he is young, obviously. And it's only going to be his second year. But like if Bo Nix takes a step forward, because think about how they're saying that this is the 6th best roster, and people don't even really think Bo Nix is still that good, and Bo Nix is still being factored into this. And if you can take a step forward, if Bo Nix can just, again, if he can just solidify himself as a top 10 quarterback, the Broncos clearly have shown that they can build a great enough roster. And Sean Payton is clearly a great enough head coach. Now you combine that with a great defense, you are going to win a ton of games. You are going to consistently be in the playoffs. You are going to consistently be contending for divisions. You should be getting home playoff games. Like you'll be consistently in this situation where it's like, all right, like we are a real team. And then of course the better the roster gets, not only of course if Boyks goes from 10 to 8 to 6, you know, whatever it may be, it's just like it's on, man. It's 100% on. The reality is you got the hardest part. You got the great head coach, and you got the great offensive head coach who not only knows how to call plays and design plays, but also knows how to work with ownership, management, however you want to define it, to actually also build teams. And that's such a more complicated relationship and a complicated aspect of what it is to be a head coach, to be able to build a team, to work with the GM and Andy Reid, Sean McVay. They have tremendous say over who they're getting. You know, if anything, they probably ultimately have final say, you know, especially Andy Reid. But at the same time, you still are relying on your GM. There's still a lot of delegation and back and forth, and you know, it's like it's complicated, quite frankly. I mean, it just is. And so even at the very least, what Sean Payton knows how to do, he knows how to clearly isolate and clearly identify this is what we need. Or he can make a strong choice and say, I'm good on offense. I need you to go out and get me defensive players. This is what I need. I need another this. I need another that. I'm like, and have the mastery over his own side of the ball, that he knows how to navigate it in a way where maybe like the owner, the GM, again, anyone else who has like any degree of say within an organization to be like, I'm going to get you this. We really need this. It's like, no, 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 that's fine. I don't need that. I promise you we can get this in the 4th round. It's all good. I'm also looking in free agency. We can get so and so for like $7 million. It's all I need. Get me a safety. And again, I'm just making stuff up. Like that alone is so crucial to be able to just identify. So much about coaching is just identifying what do we need? What are you great at? What are you bad at? It's just what am I seeing? What am I seeing and how do I relay that? And how do we build off that? And that is something that Sean Payton also does tremendously well. Not even factoring in all the other stuff that I had already said prior and what Colin emphasized. So when I see this, where the Broncos are ranked the 6th best roster, just puts a huge smile on my face because this is what I keep trying to emphasize. I mean, they're right there. Ravens consistently a top team in the NFL. I mean, like they are a Super Bowl contender. I mean, you can make the argument they were the best team in 23. Philadelphia Eagles literally just won the Super Bowl. Lions have been absolutely dominant over these last couple of years. The Buffalo Bills, obviously a Super Bowl contender. Kansas City Chiefs, obviously winning Super Bowls, winning the division, and then you have the Broncos, then you have the Denver Broncos. That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes a take can feel kind of basic when you're just like, well, this team will be as great as the quarterback. And I was like, yeah, you could say that about every team. And it's like, yeah, but we got to zoom in. We got to actually understand what are we saying here, And it's like, this roster is legit. This coaching staff is legit, and you have a young quarterback. The question mark is, how great can this young quarterback be in year 2? He solidifies himself as a legitimate top 10 quarterback. As long as his decision-making doesn't get the best of him in key moments, which is totally on the table for a young quarterback. You just haven't been there. It's like, I don't know what Bo Nix will look like in an AFC championship game in the 3rd quarter. 2 minutes to go down by, 6. I have no idea. And I'm totally give him room to make a really bad decision to be like, no, you can't do that in this moment because it's his 2nd year in the NFL and it'll be the biggest game of his NFL career in the playoffs. But if his decision-making doesn't get the best of him in key moments throughout this season, and dare I say in actual playoff games, the skill set that I believe that he will be able to have combined with Sean Payton and this roster, I fail to see why they won't be just as great as these other teams that are competing for the AFC, or just a Super Bowl in general. Like the skill set itself is there. To me now it'll come down to the decision-making, less so than you had that guy open and you missed the throw. It's just like, no. Did you make the right decision? Did you make the right throw at the right time? Did you, when the pressure came on, when you should have gotten rid of it, did you force a throw? Did you now try to scramble and now you took a 15-yard sack and now you're out of field goal range? Like, again, those are some of the things that these young quarterbacks can make mistakes. Bo Nix did it last year even. It's like, as long as those things don't come and bite you in the playoffs, it's like, I don't see why this team wouldn't compete with everyone else. Now, you still have to leave room for the magic of Josh Allen, for the magic of Lamar Jackson, for the magic of Patrick Mahomes. That still has to be on the table because they are truly special. They are truly elite, and they are obviously more experienced, and they've been there many times, and they've proven to truly elevate. I'm not going to expect Bo Nix to be able to elevate at that level in year 2 necessarily, but I like Sean Payton over the coaching staff for the Ravens. I like Sean Payton over the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills. I don't like Sean Payton over Andy Reid because I think Andy Reid's the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. But like, still, so you're right there. And then the case is kind of like, all right, well, is our roster better than the Chiefs? Are we, do we have a better O-line, a better defense? Can we force Patrick Mahomes in more uncomfortable situations? There's many head coaches who I don't believe can out-coach Spags. I believe Sean Payton's one of those coaches that can, though. So like, that's when you kind of get into the whole chess match type of thing. So it's fascinating, man. It's fascinating. But seeing the Broncos number 6, I'm like, that's as great as you could ask for in your second year with your brand new coach quarterback duo to be considered top 6 in the NFL. Like anything else is just greedy, honestly. I mean, it really is. Like anything else, you're like, all right, you got to give it a second, man. Like, what do you want them to be number 1? Like you're right there and you're right behind the team that's won the division like every single year, winning all the Super Bowls. Like you're right there. Pretty interesting stuff. I don't want to say I called it, but kind of called it. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos being ranked as a 6th best roster? Like how it says clear, Sean Payton is an elite coach. I didn't know we were actually even asking that question. It's like, yes, he's already been in that category. I love how some people try to be hated by he didn't win enough Super Bowls with Drew Brees, and it's like, well, it's because winning Super Bowls is hard. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's just the way it works. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.